The Great Global Reset is here. Are you concerned that less than 4,000 people are shaping your future, the future of humanity and planet Earth? How much do you know about what's happening, and are you getting the right and correct info about these people and their goals? In this video, I will tell you all about these people, their organization, and their goals, in addition to how they are engaged in intensive coordination with many of the world's governments and the super-rich elites in implementing the Global Reset and Redesign Manifesto. Welcome to the World Econ News, your daily dose of economics and finance. If you're interested in topics influencing the world's economies and global financial flows, this is the place for you. Watch till the end if you want to get the latest on everything. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification button to get the latest updates. Let's go. Regardless of your location, wealth, job security, and comfort level, the world around you is changing extremely fast. In fact, as of 2022, you can bank on nothing when it comes to the security and value of your wealth and investments, employment status, and general comfort levels in life, because COVID-19 and the resulting economic, health, and social issues that came with it played the role of a catalyst and initiation trigger for something pre-planned, universal, and unimaginably massive: the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Now, before I move forward to enlighten you about the main subject, let me tell you a little bit about the history of the Industrial Revolutions. In a nutshell, the first Industrial Revolution was powered by water and steam power to mechanize production. The second was powered by electricity and the combustion engine to replace the steam power and create mass production. The third was all about electronics and information technology to automate production. Since the beginning of the first Industrial Revolution, capitalism and free trade began to manifest into existence. Later, they became globalized due to the nature of supply-demand chains, which also resulted in the tourism industry. Populations were easily able to adapt to the first, second, and third industrial revolutions. Governments were able to accommodate the changes in these eras without facing popular revolts, many because the demand for low and medium-level skilled labor and professionals skyrocketed while businesses became more productive and profitable. The Fourth Industrial Revolution is very different, and it has already initiated a process of creating a short-term global economic boom that will also end with a terrible boom for the majority of the people on this planet, probably by the year 2040 at the most. So what is the Fourth Industrial Revolution? It's a fusion of advances in artificial intelligence, AI, robotics, the internet, genetic engineering, quantum computing, and space exploration. In a nutshell, it's the process in which the private sector will eliminate all the need for human workers in performing as much as 90% of all work needed to produce products and services, while also eliminating delays, costs, and human labor in the entire supply chain. This leads us to an important question. What are the main forces that are driving the agenda of the Fourth Industrial Revolution? Well, they're similar to the same forces that pushed the previous ones, such as greed, productivity levels, military superiority, innovation, new inventions, and the rising demands by consumers. Climate change and pollution are a major force only applicable to the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Every industrial revolution was backed, encouraged, and monopolized during its early days by the wealthy, as in America and Europe, or government elites, as in China and Russia. These revolutions created wealth, the middle class, the super-rich, and also severe poverty and inequality. The industrial revolutions also caused serious military modernization, dramatic increase in weapons lethality, and the creation of the military-industrial complex economy. Nevertheless, this time it's different because the super wealthy and government elites, along with their armies of experts and lobbyists, are already talking about incomprehensible unemployment rates and the need for a universal basic income in the near future. I will now move to discuss the consortium of 4,000 or so people who are deciding the nature, implementation process, and scope of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. They're divided into two interconnected groups. The first group are the financiers. They are mostly very rich to super rich investors, venture capitalists, corporate managers, members of royal families, oligarchs, and aristocrats. The second group is mostly upper middle class or semi-rich, experienced, and even famous scientists, economists, financial advisors, politicians, diplomats, religious leaders, former and current heads of states, high-ranking bureaucrats, and civil society leaders. I would like to point out here that the two groups are predominantly Westerners. You're probably wondering now, how do these 4,000 decision-makers and future shapers meet and work together? The answer is easy, and it's not a secret. They're mentioned in the news all the time. They have an official website, and they hold regular conferences. They are all members of the World Economic Forum, aka WEF, which is the driving force behind the Global Reset Manifesto. Some argue that the WEF organization consists of only 3,000 paying members, mostly intellectual, political, aristocratic, and corporate elites, which is true. However, the organization does not disclose its inner workings, structure, and list of most members. Hence, it's safe to assume that many paying members do not want to be known and choose to maintain anonymity. As far as I can tell, President of China Xi Jinping, the little guy from North Korea, US President Joe Biden, and Ali Khamenei of Iran can be members. The WEF thrives in adding unique, super-rich, influential members and heads of state. So what is the Great Reset? The Great Reset is the name of the 50th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum, WEF, held in June 2020. Since then, the Great Reset became a global concept for a new world order. It has become a manifesto that is still being formulated, and there are thousands of people from around the world involved in the process through participation in online forums organized by the WEF via its official website. WEF Chief Executive Officer Klaus Schwab described three core components of the Great Reset. The first involves creating conditions for a stakeholder economy. The second component includes building in a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable way, based on environment, social, and governance metrics, which would incorporate more green public infrastructure projects. The third component is to harness the innovations of the Fourth Industrial Revolution for the public good. Now that sounds fancy and good, but it depends. I'll save you time by informing you that the rosy picture the WEF presents in its Great Reset Manifesto and other agendas is far from rosy. I'm not saying the WEF and people working on turning the Great Reset Manifesto into reality are evil people conspiring to control the world. The truth is far from that. Most of these 4,000 or so people are just like most people on Earth. They have two agendas. One, be part of something big, fancy, complex, and exciting while contributing to what is perceived as a noble universal cause. And two, personal gains such as money, career, glory, insider trading, position, and becoming connected to high people in high places. In other words, they're not prophets and disciples, nor saints nor devils. However, many of them seem to have a serious inferiority-superiority complex problem, which is a common phenomenon these days. I'm not judging. The WEF seems to be divided from within, between the scholars who are driven by good intentions, money, and fantasies of future utopias, and the financiers who are trying to shape the WEF agenda and the Great Reset Manifesto to suit their corporate, personal, and financial goals. Now, you might think that I'm presenting a personal opinion here, so please let me assure you that this is not a mere opinion. There are many scholars and investigative journalists who see the WEF agenda as a mere tool that is being utilized by the super-rich and ruling elites to force their vision for the future upon humanity, a future in which they annually save trillions in labor costs by turning the world economy into an automated machine powered by AI, while the populations are obedient and under control. Investigative journalists, numerous scholars, and human rights advocates simply point to the fact that the WEF is pushing forward with normalizing the concept of a fourth industrial revolution as intelligent automation of the world's economy for the sake of saving the environment from pollution and climate change, while achieving universal human equity and ending inequality. As of right now, the WEF is just a front. Numerous other organizations are just like it, but it is by far the most powerful and influential due to the nature of its members, both public and secret members. It's a mere mediator between you, the average citizen, and the 0.001%ers who are exploiting it to shape the future. The WEF can liberate and exonerate itself by simply putting human rights, jobs, decent minimum wages, and workers' protection issues on top of its agenda. Would you like to learn more about what influences the world's economies and global financial flows? Click on one of the videos that shows up on the left, or go to our channel to find other interesting topics, and I will see you next time.